Alright, so there's probably a better way to do this. I'm just get the camera propped up in front of my screen. Hopefully it'll come out. I will check this shortly. But I'm playing with Deep Sky Stacker this morning. Showing you how I do it. There's probably a lot of easier, better ways to do it, but let's try this. So first I open my picture files, top left, click that. And last night, let's see, how about we'll do M82. These are a bunch of files that I took here. Let's see, and I'm just going to grab them all, M82. I believe I got 31 of them. Let's see. M82s, okay, so we'll open these. And there they all are, right down here. And I can click one, and it'll bring up a black screen. So if I go to the top right, I can grab the histogram up here and pull them over a bit to the left, so I get to start to see what I took pictures of last night. So I'll have some idea. And if there's a question about something flying through the picture, satellites, thank you Elon, or clouds or something like that, I can click each individual one and it will load that picture, and I'll have some idea of whether a cloud killed it or what, because I want to keep the ugly ones out of here. Not easy to do if you got 200 exposures. Sometimes I'll just skip this part, and I think last night was clear enough I'm going to skip it anyhow. So the next thing I do is I load some dark files, and these are darks that I put in something called a dark library, and I've got them for different exposures around this time of year in these temperatures that I'm working with. And I don't have to put 31 if I don't want to. I don't have any for 120-second exposures, so just for kicks, I'll just use probably about 20 of these for a 60-second exposure and see what happens. So I'm just going to grab, about 20 of them, and I'll click open. It's a dark, so it's not going to be perfect. That's added darks on the bottom here. Now I'll go for flats, and I will go back to my library of things. These I captured some other night when it was cloudy. Actually, I get the flats in the morning on a cloudy day with a t-shirt over my my lens. So I did the flats, the dark flats, same thing. I captured those. A lot of these, you don't have to go by the temperature or the time or anything like that. The flats, the dark flats, that kind of stuff, the biases, you could take those anytime. So now I filled up all of that stuff. Click open, so I have all of these files. So I got, let's see, the next thing we do is we check all. So we have 31 lights, 20 darks, 29 flats because I just grabbed them, 25 dark flats, 21 offset or bias. Okay, so I checked them all. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to register check pictures. So I click register check pictures and I go to recommended setting. And this tells me what I should be clicking. Now don't forget to scroll. It makes these suggestions, and the suggestions that are highlighted in green have already been changed. But the ones in blue, I could change that to these parameters just by clicking them. If you're using narrowband images, use super pixel mode. Well, I'm not. So I'll leave that by. And as I scroll down, it tells me about the different lights and flats and all the other frames I've been using, giving me my option. I could use Sigma clipping, I could use auto-adaptive weighted average combination method. Who makes this stuff up? So I have the option of clicking this, and if at the bottom it says if the resulting images look too gray, use this. So I'm not. I tried that. It didn't work out well with me. So, but you can always go back and do this over and over and over again. It's fast. That's a great thing about Deep Sky Stacker. So I'm going to click OK here. And now I don't stack after registering. I don't like to do that. I like to compute the offsets, and I like to set up my own parameters for stacking also. So this is just to register, and it takes a minute. So I'll click OK, and it goes through all kinds of stuff, adding offset frames. This is an awesome program. I don't know half of the stuff it's doing, and there's probably even a much better way to do this than I'm doing, and I'll learn it at some point, but if any of you have any suggestions, I'd be more than happy to hear them. So here we are. It's adding dark flat frames, 16 of 25. So it's building up this parcel of data, I believe, so that it can stack it. Really, it's a genius program. So it'll be done, let's see, time remaining 12 seconds, 11 seconds. That's the other thing that I'm amazed at, is the speed that this stacks or gets ready. So we're almost there. Compared to other programs I've tried in the past, this thing is like warp speed. Let's see. So there are a lot of files, and I probably shouldn't have included so many darks and dark flats and biases because I only had 31 lights. But you know, I'm not. I'm doing this just to show everyone how this thing works. Let's see, 5 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, poof, and it's done. So they're all registered at least. Now, compute offsets, I'll hit that, and watch how fast. Boom, and it should be done less than a second. Come on. Oh, that's actually a lot longer than I would have expected. That part's usually done within a second. Okay, stack check pictures. Here's the fun part. So, first we always go to recommended settings and take a look at them. Most of them are pretty much the same. And that, yes, they are. Okay, let's see. Here it says you are creating a master flat from 29 flat frames. It doesn't know how it wants to go about it. I says use Sigma clipping median combination method. I use Sigma clipping quite a bit, and it seems to work. So I click that, and it turned from blue to green. Up here, you're stacking 31 lights. It gives me a couple of options. I'll still go with Sigma clipping. And scrolling down, if you see too much gray, well, you can redo it. But I'm going to use RGB, so I'll click OK, and then click OK to stack. And here we go. Now, this will take a minute. I could sing. You probably wouldn't enjoy that too much, though. But we are stacking. It's adding dark frames, creating master dark frame. Oh, boy. Quite exciting. This astronomy stuff. The most amazing thing I think about this is that it is freeware. That, you know, I'm not paying 230 euros or anything like that to use. It's not a $700 program. Some nice fellas with giant brains have just put it together for us to use. I think they deserve a round of applause. So now it's still adding flat frames. Well, it's doing that. Oh, here we go. And even more math. You know, you could probably figure this out with the slide rule, I suppose. Maybe not. I wonder what the old astronomers did. Hired people to stack photo plates one on top of each other. Maybe not. Stacking. 10 of 31. So now we're into the actual stacking. And it's figured out which way to twist and turn and move each image, because they're not all going to be perfectly aligned. So this will align them and it will combine them in a way to give you a clear average piece of data in the form of a picture. And of course, it's going to really surprise you when you see what you get here. And that'll be up in let's see, 19 seconds, maybe 16 seconds. So it's going almost there. 26 of 31, 11 seconds. Oh boy. Oh, the anticipation is just amazing. Okay, sit down, prepare yourself. Here it comes. Ready? Oh, come on. What is this computing final picture? Okay. All right, we gotta wait a little longer. Aligning channels, saving the image. You can set up all these parameters before you use it. Poof, and there it is. Is that magnificent or what? Look at that. Look at that picture right there. It looks horrible, terrible. It's just a little dot. So you went through all this effort, took all those pictures, and all you get is that. But here's what we do. Down here at the bottom, you'll see a couple of boxes, and this is how we'll fix things. This is a histogram right there, and this is where all the data is hiding, right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring that picture out. So watch this trick. First thing I do is link settings. Once they're linked, I can play with these little knobs down here. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to grab the light and I'm going to drag it. And if you watch carefully, you'll see on the screen, the histogram, you'll see that data moving to the right. The area on the left of a histogram is black. The area on the right of a histogram is white. And all the area between are different shades of grays, evidently. I guess that's what you call it. So now I'm going to bring it, but I only brought it, oh geez, not even a quarter of the way. Okay, let's go a full quarter of the way over here. And now I'm going to apply that and take a look at the screen. It'll get whiter. Well, it got a little brighter, not much. But that's all you want to do, move in small increments. Now you notice that the little controllers here have moved back to the original position, and your histogram data is moving to the right as you move that light thing to the left. Apply again. Now our little blob is starting to look bigger, and I'm going to continue doing that just a quarter of the way, and things are getting brighter and brighter and brighter. The whole screen lit up a little more. And now that data is starting to come through. Take a look at that. Something is happening here, folks. Now, you got to keep doing this just gradually, just a little bit at a time. Just a little nudge and apply it. Now, at some point, you're going to have the screen starting to get more gray than you really want it to. And what you can do is you can grab the link on the left and move it just ever so slightly to the right and hit apply. Now, I'll show you something else. I've moved it way too far, so I've dragged all our data over to the left side. I'll hit apply, and yuck! It's just gotten rid of anything that I really want to look at. It made a mess, and the amount of data seems to scrunch down here. So you can always reset it. Don't hit the reset, that'll bring you back to step one, but hit this back arrow here. It looks like a curved arrow pointing left. So, woof, and you're back to the last image. So now I'll drag just a little bit more. I want some of that white gone. And you can keep playing with this forever. And if you do, eventually you're going to lose all your data. It'll wash out. So you got to know when to stop. So this is M82, and over here you can see it wasn't even there before. M81 is creeping in. So because they're so close to each other. It took me forever to find Bode's Galaxy. And now I finally got it. So now I'm gonna tweak the dark just a little bit more. Not too much. And you know, now it's starting to look pretty nice. And I'll continue going on with this if I want, but let's show you another trick. Saturation, click that tab on the top and drag the slider over. Usually I end up at around 20%, that's probably too much. But it depends on your taste and what this looks like. You can change this anytime. Once you set it at 20, it doesn't reset, it's at 20, and you can drag it back to 1 if you want. So watch the difference in color. I'll try it at 20. And apply. And I don't know if you can see this that clearly, but the color just shot up. Let's go extreme here, and I'll bring it to 40. See how bright red that's starting to get. Let's go all the way and make it ridiculous color. Okay, so now everything, including the background, is starting to get red. It's like way too much. So I'll drop it down. Like I said, I like 20, but it's your preference, and you can change all this in Photoshop anyhow. And that's really my next move. I hit apply. Okay. Now we're back to 20. Now there's another one named Luminous right here, and you can play with this. This can be a pain. I made many mistakes. Normally what I go after is the midtones. It's at 10%, and or 10 degrees rather. And I only move it up a couple of notches on the top, maybe down a couple on the bottom, and see what that looks like. And most of the time I'm not happy with the results. I'll apply it anyhow. See, that's not really what I wanted to do. And then I can make the mistake and go back to RGB levels and try to correct the darks, but I'm not gonna. These controls are just not my friends yet. Sooner or later I may learn them, but in the meantime I'm just going to use Photoshop. So what I do is I save this picture to a file. Let's call this just M82 and see if that works. I save it always as a TIFF, 16-bit, and I can edit that easily in Photoshop. And it's saving it. And that's pretty much it for Deep Sky Stacker. At my level, I'm sure there are people out there that are wizards with this that can utilize all the controls and actually know what they all mean. But I'm not quite there yet. I can manage to do a decent stack. And that's pretty much it. So enjoy, and I wish you all clear skies. Okay, thanks. Bye.